as they're emerging from homelessness, the financial barriers to be able to furnish a home. It's not a cheap endeavor to provide beds for everyone in your home.
Welcome to the DMF podcast, where you will find great conversations with interesting people who have been called to serve. We'll meet impactful charities, dive deep into pressing health topics, and learn from servant leaders who are working to see, be, and spread light. At the end of each episode, we hope you're inspired to realize that you have your own unlimited potential to change the world for the better. Join us as we work to create a region of the healthiest, most purpose-driven people on the planet. Welcome back to the DMF podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Isaacson. Thanks for joining me in another conversation as we highlight a charity that is doing important work in our community. Entering housing is an important step in the journey of emerging from homelessness. Yet those four walls that someone walks into is still not enough to solve the problem. In the United States, half of those who enter housing return to shelters within the year. I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Jenessa Fillipi, founder and executive director of Down Home. Down Home is on a mission to stabilize those emerging from homelessness by furnishing homes, building community where their clients feel supported, stable, and in a nurturing home. Because sleeping on the floor and eating meals on a cardboard box and lacking the financial resources to purchase items beyond those basic needs does not foster dignity for new beginnings. Today's episode will give you insight into how life-changing a fresh start in a cozy home can be. So whether you're looking to learn more about Down Home or just hoping for an uplifting message, I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. So let's get into it. All right, everyone, we are sitting down with Jenessa in the studio today, and it is just such a blessing to have you here today. So thank you for taking the time.
Thanks so much, Whitney, for having me.
Yes, I'm excited to have a fun conversation around what you guys do, talking about homelessness, getting into kind of the behind the scenes look of what Down Home is and what you guys see on a day-to-day basis. So it's going to be awesome. But before we roll into all that, I wanted to just ask you, why are you in the career you are? What are you most passionate about? Why do you do what you do?
Thanks so much for asking that question. I am a mother of four, proud mother of four, and I was an elementary school counselor for 15 years. My heart and passion is family and children, and Down Home helps fill a need in our community that allows me to be a part of a solution in regards to a gap that our family collectively saw in the community.
Yes, and it's fulfilling to be a part of a solution.
It absolutely is. And then when you enter into that gap, there are so many helpers and other people that have enhanced and allowed us to be able to become more than I could have ever imagined when we first entered in 2017.
Wow. Yeah. So we're going to get into the whole story, but you brought up just right there about how you're filling a need and being a part or standing in that gap, closing that gap. So I want to just ask, why Down Home and what is the need?
My husband and I both grew up in small communities, and when we met at college, started a family, we both really recognized that we have unique gifts and talents that complement each other. And at one point in time, we had talked about how we can use those gifts and talents to provide a for-profit business in the communities. That was the time, lots of flipping homes and things like that. And we started having our family, and before we knew it, we were, 15 years into marriage. And that is when I was working as an elementary counselor, and my husband did maintenance work. And we saw this similar gap in the community, two very different professions. And my husband would go into apartment buildings, and he would see that children, while living there for quite some time, children were sleeping on the floor with one blanket, one pillow, and turned over tub for a table. And then myself as an elementary counselor would see really the aftermath of not getting a good night's sleep, children unable to focus, attend, manage their emotions, be a good friend, right? All of those important skills, academics and everything. And, when you start seeing a gap and start asking the questions in the community, which is where we started, is this gap really in the community? Is there no one providing the comforts and dignity of a good night's sleep, a table to eat at? How are those emerging from homelessness helping make their space into a home more than just the four walls? And as we asked that question, it was confirmed over and over again by those working with the homeless population that there was nothing like down home in our community.
Wow. Yes, such a beautiful story. So thank you for all that you do. And, I hear you guys talk a lot about how you're working with people emerging from homelessness. But I want to take a step back and look a little bit at the big picture of the trend of homelessness and where you're seeing that at in our community, maybe, across our region. Where are we at with homelessness?
Presently, what has been reported is that there's over 1,000 men, women, and children in our community that are homeless every single night. Now, that's a point in time count, which means that's not accounting for those who are couch surfing or living in their vehicles or other ways, in hotels, things like that. So there's definitely more in our community that are striving to emerge from homelessness. But presently trying to figure out what to do in the interim. I know that our shelters are presently full and at capacity. There are so many different aspects to emerging from homelessness, and so grateful for a community that really strives to work together to be a solution together. So we fill one gap in this grand picture of how to help families who are coming to Fargo, oftentimes from other communities, looking for a future filled with hope beyond homelessness.
Wow. And it's cool that you guys can be a part of that solution because, like you said, it's very complex. There's not just one partner solving the issue. It takes a lot of boots on the ground for sure.
It absolutely does. And we think of the Fargo demographics and what a gift to be in this boots in the ground community that's very philanthropic, that loves to volunteer, and having a demographic where things are geographically accessible for families. The larger a community gets, the less accessible some of those resources are. We live in a community where we really strive to partner intentionally and smart, in the ways that we do that.
Yes. So the people that you're working with, the individuals, the families, is there a common tipping point that you see that might be a factor of why they're, needing to come out of homelessness or why they went into a homeless situation in the first place? Are there common factors that you've seen?
Of those that we serve at Down Home, there are some common trends that we see. One of them is domestic abuse. Another one is mental health. There's drug use or abuse. And other times it's the death of someone that they love or a fire that they've experienced or some natural disaster.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So for those in our community that maybe don't get a front row seat to what you get to see on a day-to-day basis, what are some common things for the general public to know about homelessness that maybe they've never considered before?
There are so many hidden realities in our community, and we talk about the hidden realities of what we get to see as we enter into someone's story at a very vulnerable time. Those that we serve through Down Home are truly striving to stabilize. We serve a smaller number of families with great purpose and intention. It's a divinely inspired vision that we get to be a part of and invite the rest of the community to say yes to. As we meet families in their home, that is really where we get to offer dignity of the human person and spirit. And we are privileged to hear really intimate and confidential parts of their story that then allows us to consider, how can we better equip our community with information and expose our mission so that other people can understand homelessness a little bit better. And one of the gifts that we have at Down Home is our move-in sponsorship opportunity, where businesses, faith communities, families There's some that do it year over year because it's such a powerful experience where they get to be the boots on the ground after we've coordinated everything for a home. They get to come in and see the faces of men, women, and children in our community that prior to us serving them with furniture and decor had been sleeping on the floor every single night and expected to get up and go to school the next day, expected to go to work, expected to function. And that's one way that we invite the community to be able to better understand the faces and the heart of our work, but also the dignity of the human person.
Totally. The dignity of the human person is 100% what it's all about. And I've been able to be a part of a move-in before as well. And it really was a great opportunity to step into a part of our community that I'm blessed enough to not have to deal with or to see, and to think that that is someone's reality every single day. That's hard, especially when there's kids involved, there's families. And so I'm curious from, your perspective and your work, what stories or what impact stories have you seen that are little nuggets that remind you why you do what you do?
There have been so many, and we call them miracle moments. These moments that we know the Lord's hand is all over our work. He continues to place people on our path with such purpose. Our very first move-in was an act of faith in coordinating items and serving someone from Churches United, a single mother with a son that had been sleeping in their vehicle until we had the privilege to serve them. And I will never forget, because we did get it recorded, not even knowing really what we were doing yet or what we were saying yes to. But I remember her walking in, and I've watched the video several times, where her disbelief of what is in her space, and her head goes right into her hands. She's in tears, and she is left speechless. And that space was probably the most sparse space. We had a couch and some things on the walls, but nothing like what we provide now because of the generosity of our community. Yet we hear so many people say, I didn't know that I was worthy of this. This is too much, we heard recently. And too much meaning what the majority of us experience every day feels too much to those that have only known emptiness recently. And yeah, the opportunities that we have within the experience to help validate their worth is extremely powerful. Another impact story that's pretty common is of the children and the squeals of excitement that just bring you to tears, and the words that come out of the mouths of babes to their moms saying, I can finally have my friends over to play, or I finally have a bed to sleep on. We just do not even understand the barriers that families and children are facing in homeless situations. And as they're emerging from homelessness, the financial barriers to be able to furnish a home, it's not a cheap endeavor to provide beds for everyone in your home, or a table to eat at, or if you're a single mom with children, then how do you get those items up to your third floor apartment? Maybe you don't have transportation. We eliminate all those barriers through that move-in transformation so that they can truly stabilize and start building a future beyond those four walls.
I love that. And I've heard you guys say this over and over again, how entering housing, is an important step in the journey of emerging from homelessness. Yet the four walls is still not enough to solve the problem. And what does that mean to you? And what does that mean to Down Home?
To Down Home, it means that we are called to invite people to be part of something more, to be part of the Down Home story, to be part of our community. And that means that we get to transform an empty space into something beautiful, dignified, personalized, that really takes their breath away and truly our breath away, because it is hundreds of donations, which means hundreds of donors that are part of someone's move-in transformation. And then from this beautiful space that they can now see hope, then we get to say, and that's not it. There is a future beyond these four walls. And now I bet they can start seeing that more because we eliminate the financial burdens of the furniture and decor, and then we do the follow-ups with them. Oftentimes encouragements and opportunities of getting their children more involved in activities in the community, maybe get involved in a faith community as part of their Pay It Forward plan, writing thank you notes and cards. And then we partner with other incredible nonprofits and for-profit companies that provide resources beyond the move-in day.
I'm just picturing this as you're explaining it, as sometimes people will go to a thrift store or they'll receive a donation from a family friend and it's like, great, thanks. But then it ends there. But the impact and the emotions behind what you guys do, where you are pouring love and community into people, and community is one of the best remedies for any sickness, hurting, economic instability, whatever it is community is such a healing thing. So to be poured into by the Down Home family is so amazing. And I know you guys are more than just furnishing homes. So can we talk a little bit more about these programs and other things you offer?
The beautiful gift in our community is that there's a lot of movers and shakers.
Yes.
With that means that we get to partner intentionally with other for-profit and not-for-profit companies that enhance our work. One of the examples is birthday packages. We get to partner with a local nonprofit that provides birthday packages for our children. We provide a Down Home Christmas event, which invites volunteers to come and be a part of that, and our growing Down Home family to come together to take family pictures, to experience the traditions, the sights, the smells, all the things of the Christmas season that oftentimes are lacking in homeless situations. We also partner with areas that help, or companies that help with jobs, securing jobs, building a resume, different things like that. Another nonprofit that helps provide transportation for those gaps in our community. It continues to evolve over time as our community continues to enhance their offerings. It's such a privilege to be able to be part of this community because it allows us to be furniture, decor, and so much more.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And a part of the move-in that I got to experience, a core piece of that for a memory for myself was how we implemented prayer and faith into the move-in. Before and after, it was praying over that space with that person afterwards, but also beforehand as a team, and being prepared and equipping each other to volunteer and create this space, knowing that it is going to serve someone far beyond what we could even imagine. And I just love that. So can you share a little bit about why that's important to your guys' process?
Down Home is the Lord's vision, and I could have never come up with it on my own. That story is a whole other story, yet there's no denying that part of Down Home is a gift to our community. And my husband and I and my mom and others that said yes at the very beginning have been able to be part of the transformation of what Down Home has come to be. Prayer has always been at the forefront because there's no other way that I could do that. I could lead as the leader of Down Home. I have intentionally surrounded myself with other faith-filled people that help remind me of the impact of our work, because as we continue to scale and grow, we are a business, which means there's going to be lots of hiccups and hang-ups along the way that we get to learn and grow from. Prayer is the common thread that keeps all of that together and going, and my mind and heart set on the eternal prize that we're striving to build the kingdom through the work that we do at Down Home, and incorporating prayer then at the beginning and being not unapologetic about that we pray as a team. We pray with our move-in sponsors. We pray with the families. And we hear so often that that's what draws people to Down Home, including our clients. We offer one part of our program called Empower Up, where we have incorporated faith, which is one of our core values, in the curriculum. It is really more tools in your toolbox. And I think it's almost 100% of the participants that have gone through that program that have said, wow, this is so different than what I've experienced in therapy, which therapy is so important. So we're not therapists. So I want to preface that, but we help facilitate important skills that then and tools that they get to take with them. And then they start sharing about how faith has been a core of who they are. And it just allows the Lord to take it from there. So one of our lines is we do our best and let God do the rest.
I love that. So is this a program that every participant is able to be a part of?
Currently, it is one side of our program that allows those that maybe don't have a case manager or a referral agency that they can come into the Down Home programming through the Empower Up program, through those sessions. We currently are not offering it on the kind of traditional side, which is for families and the full transformation. Yet, who knows, right? We continue to evolve, and we know that the skills are very important, and really considering at what point in that year post move-in might those tools be the most useful for the families that we serve.
Remember that Giving Hearts Day is a year-round effort. At the end of the episode, we'd invite you to head to givingheartsday.org to give, find a volunteer opportunity, or donate goods to this charity or one of the other 600 plus important causes throughout our region. And don't forget to mark your calendars for Giving Hearts Day 2026, the region's largest 24-hour give-a-thon. Giving Hearts Day 2026 will be held on Thursday, February 12th. See you then. So let's talk a little bit more about just the process, how you work with your participants. You know, you said you do all the follow-ups, there's referrals, or there's this program. So walk us through the day-to-day of the process of what it's like to do what you do.
You got to love the Lord, because when he comes up with something, he makes it very, specific, intentional, extensive. Our model is relational and intentional, so more boutique style rather than big box store, which means that there's a lot of components to it. We partner with many different agencies who work with the homeless population that then we accept referrals from. Once we receive that referral, then we go through the steps of getting to the point of accepting it. Once we accept the referral, then we, depending on which side of the program they're entering in, we're from speaking to the traditional side, then we set up a family meeting and go into their space and see the emptiness, yet also learn more about who they are, what their children like, what colors, how we can make this space into a home to embrace for them. Then we go back to Down Home, which is where we house thousands of intentional, incredible donations from our community. Start coordinating, and these are where some of these miracle moments happen. We might hear from someone that the kids really love a certain character, and we might not have it in that moment, and yet all of a sudden a donor comes in with that character.
Wow.
Or with the whole bed set or whatever that looks like, and we just can't make up those moments as we're coordinating how the Lord really honors the hearts of those that we serve, and we get to see that firsthand as we're coordinating those spaces. Once it's all coordinated, we top it all up, we put it into the back alongside all of the large furniture that's been chosen. And then we have incredible groups come in, like when DMF team came in. You come in, we share more about what the process is going to be like. Then we get ready, boots on the ground, load up that U-Haul, go to the space, transform it, provide the reveal for the family or the individual. And then the connections coordinator, who was part of the family meeting, then they let them know, here's what else is coming. Here's what else we have to offer, and here's the next time that you'll expect to hear from me, and including all those lovely things that we talked about.
All right. Wow. It's so good to understand the process a little bit more. And so throughout your explanation there of just walking me through, I was just curious to know, what is your favorite part of the process? And where do you get to fit in and just be like, this is why I do this every single day?
Goes back to my heart and my passion. I mean, I was an elementary school counselor for all those years, and I love to be in communication with the clients. So as much as I lead, I'm leading the organization, as much as I would love to be boots on the ground as well. Part of that has been a privilege to be able to facilitate some of the sessions for Empower Up, and to hear the resilience of people in our community who have survived unimaginable realities in their childhood, and how they persevere is awe-inspiring. And so anytime I get to be part of a move-in or to meet the clients, that is truly where my heart resonates and reminds me of the important work, and reminds me, when I experience challenges and frustrations and those areas, that they're really areas to learn and to grow and to hopefully push the needle forward to be able to serve even more families in our community and potentially across the region or other areas.
Yes, I can just feel your heart through it all, because it really does seem like such an emotional journey for your participants, because the emotions behind them emerging out of homelessness, finding housing, it's one thing to secure housing, but they might be fighting a battle every single day of, do I pay rent or do I go buy myself a new table for the kitchen? Do I pay rent to keep my housing or do I buy groceries? And it's just an endless cycle. So how do you guys fit into that cycle? I know, you're furnishing the homes, all of that, but what is the key component that you guys are working with in that cycle, or what do you see that you're adding to?
Yeah, thanks so much for speaking to that. When we consider the majority of those that we serve are single mothers with children, that as a mom, that mama heart, and I can't imagine what it would be like to need to make those decisions. Like knowing my children need food, I need to pay the electricity, or I need to pay my rent. And then beyond that, we're going to sleep on the floor. And I don't know when that cycle is going to end. So I would say that a pivotal part of our work is that entry point of the furniture, because we are filling that basic need of furniture, but also the dignity, as we talked about, that offers the stability and allowing the children to see a different reality than they've known. Some of them have never known a home that's been fully furnished. And we know that the Lord gets to take that now new reality for them, and we look at that next generation. We might not be able to be be part of breaking the cycle of poverty for this generation that we're serving now, yet we know the Lord is doing immeasurably more within our yes to their story and within their yes to down home.
Yes, totally. Just being able to be there at that starting point, provide that furniture. And it makes me wonder how important, furniture, you say that and it doesn't sound glamorous, but to be able to provide that, it makes me wonder the statistics of how many people stay in their housing, how many people stay and continue to let the Lord flourish in their life versus someone who maybe might not be able to receive as many blessings of furniture, and how that impacts them of maybe potentially going back to homelessness. Do you ever see that?
That's really the core of why we offer. So one of the things, just kind of prefacing it, we have heard, well, isn't something better than nothing? And I would say that in some situations that could be true, right? But down home is called to more. We are called to more than something is better than nothing. And as you see the transformations, if you ever get a chance to watch videos on our Facebook page or on our website, you really see this tangible transformation that happens in a short amount of time that is almost unbelievable, where families get to see, I am worthy of more than something is better than nothing. Like, I can now see and understand and want to live for more, because scraping by is a really tough reality to persevere in day after day after day if you don't see some light at the end of your tunnel. And that furniture and that complete transformation, the inspirational quotes that we put in families' homes, and the Bible verses and the crosses and the plush pillows and the blankets and the brand new mattresses and the brand new sheets and all of these really beautiful elements that Down Home provides, people that we serve really see and believe, wow, I do live in a community that is seeing me, hearing me, loving on me, believes in me. And now I can start believing in myself. I can start seeing that future beyond four walls for myself and for my children, because I can now start having the resources to get more involved in the community, maybe to save up money for that vehicle. So it really is this.
It's a launch.
It's a launch.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And everyone is worthy of a house that feels like a home. And to hear that it truly is happening with Down Home participants, to have this confidence boost of, I almost think of it as look good, feel good, is if you have a comfy home that you can go to, that is like a launching point for your well-being in all other areas of life, because you have to feel safe and secure in those basic needs to be able to do anything else in your life.
Absolutely. And we have so many of those that we serve say, oh my gosh, I can't wait for my friends to come over. Like the adults themselves. Of course, the children are saying that, but the adults themselves finally have a table to eat at and a place to entertain or to host, because that is the heart of many people, right? Of connection. Like, we long for connection, yet if you don't have a place that you can feel is inviting, then where do you meet? Where do you go? How do you build those friendships? Oftentimes they're in people's homes. And so we break down those barriers so that people can truly feel more connected within our community.
Yes. And truly just thank you for what you do and your vision behind Down Home. I can't imagine our community without Down Home. And so it is such a blessing to get to have this conversation with you. And as we are wrapping up, I am just curious how someone who's listening, how they can get involved, or what your ask is for them of what they can do to support you guys.
First and foremost, prayers. As with any of the Lord's work, there are great challenges in serving families within our community, and your prayers are such a huge part of how we continue to thrive. Luke 9:16 is our stronghold. So we invite people to set their alarms for 9:16 every day. Mine went off this morning as a reminder to pray for Down Home. So Luke 9:16 is the miracle of the loaves and the fish, the reminder that with our little, the Lord can and will do immeasurably more. Of course, we are a nonprofit, and we invite volunteers to be able to get involved with the work that we do. We have different sponsorship opportunities to be part of those incredible move-ins. We have Wednesday morning power prayer team, which is more of an ongoing volunteer opportunity. And then, of course, we love the generosity of our community to financially support our work so that we continue to scale and grow and serve more in our community and beyond.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys have a whole warehouse of donations.
Thank you.
And I
yes.
loved when I was there, and I was just thinking myself, I'm like, you guys have such beautiful items as well. You guys really have a lot of gems that are just hiding in there. And it's probably so fun to get to go through those donations and match them to the right people. But I know that's another way that people can find you guys and support as well, correct?
Absolutely. Ongoing list of gently used, like new items that we accept, from, beautiful accent pillows to, we go through a lot of lamps and nightstands, end tables, small tables, vertical dressers. The list goes on and on. Each week we're serving a new family, and we invite donors to bring their gently used items. to us.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing. And I'm excited to just continue to follow you guys and support you guys. You always have your fun transformation videos, and that's a really good way for someone in the community to kind of get the warm, fuzzy feelings, a little like heart punch of like, wow, like, okay, like how impactful the work that they're doing. So I just encourage everyone to watch that as well and then be inspired to be a part of a move-in. So I can't wait to just, like I said, follow you guys more. So thank you again for what you guys do and for having this conversation with me today. It's beautiful to hear what you guys get to do day to day.
Thank you so much to DMF and to you, Whitney, for today's conversation.
Yes, thanks, Jenessa. It is easy to take for granted the things that make our houses feel like a home. And for those emerging from homelessness and working with Down Home, that part of fulfilling that basic need of furniture and dignity offers stability to have a different reality than what they've previously known and set them up for a hopeful future. Because it's one thing to secure housing, but it's another to then have to meet other basic needs and make decisions on whether or not you can pay rent or buy a new bed or buy groceries for your family each month. There is a future beyond those empty four walls when working with Down Home. Down Home is eliminating the financial burden of furniture and decor and connection, and truly is a turning point for those emerging from homelessness to provide a well-being in all areas of their life. With that first step of transforming an empty space into a beautiful home. So don't forget that you can check out more at down-home.org. All right, folks, that is a wrap for today. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you next time on the DMF podcast. And remember, we are called to serve.